Okay, this is completely outrageous. Angela Levin, our royal mastermind, has told the truth about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle for a number of years. And you'll remember, any regular viewers will know that Angela actually really loved Prince Harry. She spent about 2 years with the guy, writing his authorized biography. Harry gave access to Angela. She was allowed into the palace. She got face-to-face access with him. And then she watched in real time as the dastardly Meghan Markle came on the scene, and everything changed. So all Angela Levin has done is tell the truth. And that power that she has had over the narrative in terms of what's really going on with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle means that she has become a major target for the Meghan Markle stans, the weirdos who try and excuse her bullying, who try and excuse her lying. And there's still a few of them. And we saw one of the most egregious examples at it over the weekend, where Wendell Pierce, Meghan Markle's co-star on Suits, the man who actually played her father on Suits, but has a very checkered past of his own, decided to attack our Angela after this conversation with Lauren the Insider on X. So Lauren posted a source, Meghan, I thought her passion was white labeling jam. This woman has had more career attempts than Brooklyn Beckham. Angela then replied saying, Meghan won't love being told what to do by any producer. Suits actors found her difficult, demanding, and rude, and she was only a starter then. Now, that prompted this backlash from Wendell Pierce, and trust me, he isn't writing this without Meghan Markle's tacit approval and the approval of her team. He fired back at Angela, writing, you have no idea what you were talking about, Angela Levin. You are a gossip monger looking to profit off of smearing a woman you know nothing about. Meghan was a kind, giving, and talented artist who I enjoyed working with for years. You, Angela, are a shameless hack. I'm more mad at myself for allowing you to get under my skin. I'll focus this anger on the friendship that Meghan and I have and the fond memories I have from working on Suits. Her grace is something you know nothing about. Now, let me tell you, this is propaganda pure and simple, because in all of my research into Meghan Markle's showbiz days, where I spoke to a number of people, including cast members, including directors, including producers who work with Meghan Markle, they tell horror stories of bullying behavior on set, diva demands on set. And this was widespread. And by the way, I'm not the only person reporting this. Angela Levin is not the only person reporting this. Look at the very thoroughly researched book, Revenge by Tom Bower, for example. Now, you can imagine this response from Wendell Pierce sparked absolute outrage. Nancy Sidley writing, did he just go after our Angela Levin? She then reminded the likes of Wendell Pierce that Meghan Markle was actually responsible for elder abuse when it came to her behaviour towards the dying late Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip. And let's be honest, Wendell Pierce is hardly someone who should be taking the moral high ground. As Nancy also pointed out, that's the mugshot, by the way. At least Angela Levin has never been arrested for losing her temper and beating up on women. Tari Barkahi wrote, Meghan Markle defended by a guy who was arrested for attacking a woman, escaped a criminal charge in 2016 by accepting counselling and doing community service, now drags a veteran female journalist for having opinions. You have a voice, Ms. Markle. Any view on Basher Wendell?
Okay, this is completely outrageous. Angela Levin, yes, the royal biographer who spent well over a year shadowing Prince Harry for his authorized book, has told the same uncomfortable truth for years. Harry changed once Meghan arrived. She had palace access, face-to-face interviews, and receipts of her own work. That credibility is exactly why Meghan's most ardent online defenders keep targeting her. This weekend, it escalated. Again.
Now, Angela hasn't spoken about this, but she joins me now to do so. Angela, what was your reaction when you received that post from Meghan Markle's former co-star, which is clearly part of a coordinated campaign now to start hitting back at people like you who are telling the truth about Ms. Markle?
Yeah, I've often been attacked with these things, and I just close my mind to it. I don't know who he is. I've never heard of him before, and he's just being very rude. But he doesn't get through to me because I'm not a girl who's going to go away and cry, or be upset. I couldn't care less what he thinks of me, really. What I care about are the people that I care about, and they care about me. So I don't let it get to me. It sometimes makes me laugh because they don't know me, they've never seen me properly. And I think that what I say about Meghan is actually gentle and much kinder that I really think about her. I try not to be too rude. I try not to discuss how horrendous she is to Harry and to the rest of the royal family. We've never heard once since she's shown some sort of gratitude. And look what her life is. I don't mean making bagels, but I mean just, everybody's heard of her. And she's been absolutely vile about it. And if she wants to attack me, then I think it's childish to get people to do it for her. And I take no notice of her because I'm a happy person, I'm not happy for Harry. I feel very sorry for him, but that's his fault. I think it's disgusting she doesn't apologise, and I couldn't care less what she thinks about me either, I'm
But
afraid.
you did love Harry, right? You
I
you
did love
you
Harry.
you loved him.
I
And
did love him. I was actually with him for 15 months and we got on absolutely terrifically. He can speak off his cuff beautifully. He's very funny. He's very kind. He's helpful for anyone who's having trouble, whether they're a child or much older. He's great, actually, but he's been crushed to bits. And I'm very sorry about that. And I'm very sorry that it's fallen apart for with his brother because he did say to me one day that he's the only person I can trust, and he's the only person I can really say anything I want to say. And that's what we're like. We're very, very close. And Catherine has come along and she's like the sister I've always wanted. Now, do you believe it's now he feels about them, or do you believe it's then when he was under no pressure, nothing? He brought the subject up, he said it. So something has turned him round into somebody awful. I mean, I think a lot of us have got bad points and good points, but when you want a partnership, you want someone who brings out the best in you.
yeah,
I think
and I
Meghan has
think it's
brought out the worst in him, the
and
worst.
yes, and I think it's important to address a couple of the matters in the post, specifically Angela. Now, I'll talk on this and then I'll pass the floor over to you. But obviously, Angela, we're very good friends and we've worked together now for multiple years. And Wendell Pierce is responsible for total disinformation in this post. So he says, you have no idea what you were talking about, Angela Levin. Well, she literally wrote the book, Wendell Pierce. She literally wrote the book. She was literally there as Meghan Markle entered Harry's life. You are a gossip monger looking to profit off smearing a woman you know nothing about. Well, Angela Levin has an epic Fleet Street career. She has interviewed massive royals like Princess Margaret, for example, which lots of us could only have dreamed about. She has been given incredible access to Queen Camilla to be her biographer. So the idea that Angela Levin needed Meghan Markle in any way for her career is completely ludicrous. Angela, do you want to add to that?
I think you're being extremely kind to me. I just can't answer that really. Too moving.
Oh, bless you, Angela. Bless you. Well, look, I was so annoyed about it, but I think this is going to happen more, Angela, because we've also seen Daniel Martin, Daniel Martin, the gay BFF makeup artist who now has been
Yes, poor
booted
fellow.
by Meghan, but he attacked, according to Tasha, who's another regular here on Outspoken. And so I think this is all part of the new paid PR campaign by Meghan Markle
Yes.
to try and take down the people who are just telling the truth. And this is always my point, right? And Angela, people can go back and look at our writing. You know, you were on CNN on the wedding day. I was covering it.
I did the whole wedding.
Yeah, 100%. I was covering it for the Sun newspaper. I was executive editor at the time and appearing on Meghan Kelly's NBC show at the time as well. Honestly, I could not have been more positive. I wrote a column at the time saying, this is what you need to do, Meghan Markle, to make sure that you were a success in the royal family. And it included things like keep continuing with your own passions and acting and things like that. So the idea that we were in any way doing anything other than reporting the truth about her bad behavior is just plain wrong. And Wendell Pierce, you are a disgusting man for attacking a journalist, a female journalist, in that way when you have this conviction for beating up a woman. Look at that. Look at that. In 2016, actor Wendell Pierce was arrested in Atlanta after a political argument turned physical. A woman claimed Mr. Pierce began to push her and follow them to their room, stuck his arm in the door and tried to enter. He began to hit her in the head and grab her hoodie, ripping the hood off. That's who Meghan Markle has defending her, just like Tyler Perry, who's now dealing with his own sexual misconduct claims. But look, Angela, I want to move on to these deranged attacks. And I'm sorry, Angela, these are now deranged. And she's an old friend of mine, but I do not know what's going on with her. Amanda Platel, writing in the Daily Mail. Now, Lee Cohen, who's another good friend of ours, Angela, actually posted on X, is Platel on some mind-altering drugs? And this is because she has absolutely campaigned now, Angela, against Catherine, the Princess of Wales. And she is getting Catherine so wrong.
Here's the spark. A post joked about Meghan's revolving career lanes. Angela replied that Meghan won't love being told what to do, adding castmates once found her difficult early on, an opinion she's expressed before. Actor Wendell Pierce, Meghan's TV dad on Suits, fired back, calling Angela a gossip monger and shameless hack, insisting Meghan was kind and professional. Then the internet exploded. Supporters of Angela resurfaced old headlines about Pierce's 2016 arrest. Critics called it deflection. Bottom line, this looks and feels like coordinated pushback. Amplify praise for Meghan, smear anyone who contradicts it. Angela's response? Unbothered. She stands by her reporting and moves on.
And unfortunately, Angela, I now do believe this is a campaign, and I believe it's a campaign that's been led out of Buckingham Palace, and they're working with the Daily Mail to try and make people turn on William and Catherine. And it's just plain weird because Amanda Platel is not right in the way that she is trying to present Catherine. But I want to take you through the column, then I'll get your reaction, Angela. So she's writing about King Charles in regards to Prince Andrew. Did he act swiftly enough for future Queen Catherine? After all, she and William and their 3 children have just moved into their forever home, Forest Lodge in Windsor Great Park. And despite the King's edict, Andrew and Fergie are still in their palatial home just over a mile down the road, and they could be there for months before their eviction. Sources claim that behind the scenes, Kate has been relentless in her demands for Andrew to be gone. Operating with an iron fist, she is reportedly determined that her young family should be nowhere near the putrid stench of the Yorks and their revolting behaviour. Along with William, she has by all accounts been one of the driving forces to see them banished from sight as soon as humanly possible. Yes, the same sweet Kate who with flowing tresses made those loving home videos about her family and her recovering from cancer. The smiling Kate who captures people's hearts across the world with her spontaneous charm, her empathy, her stoicism in the face of serious illness. Yet what is becoming ever more apparent is that this Princess Perfect has an inner core of steel, and she is unafraid to use it in the case of Andrew. But in Kate's case, the animus runs deeper. Historian Andrew Lowney points out in his book on the disgraced ex-prince that Andrew made rude remarks about Kate in the past and was disrespectful to her. So disrespectful that William apparently was left infuriated, and it led to a bitter feud between the 2 men. Back in the day, when Kate was joining the royal family, she would have had to curtsy to boorish Andrew, and he's the sort of snob who would have insisted on deference from a commoner as Kate then was. And not just a commoner, but the daughter of Carol, a former air hostess. Can you just imagine Andrew lording it over her? The irony won't be lost on our future queen. Forget for a moment that admirable do-gooding image we all have of her, Where Andrew and Fergie are concerned, she'll take no prisoners. As for Harry and Meghan, she will have no truck with them either, and surely backs William's decision to cut them out of her lives. Why wouldn't she, after all the spiteful things that they have said about her and her husband and the rest of the royal family? Making an enemy of the Princess of Wales is a bad idea. Harry and Meghan have found this out to their cost, and so have Andrew and Fergie. What's the betting they are out of Royal Lodge sooner than expected so that Kate and William and their young family can settle into their home and decorate the Christmas tree without the neighbours from hell? Underneath that angelic persona, there's a tigress protecting her brood in Kate, who's as tough as tungsten. Heaven help anyone who tries to get in her way. I know Amanda Patel is on face value trying to be nice about Catherine, but we know what's going on here. We know what's going on here. And it's just not accurate. Catherine leaves these big decisions to William. She absolutely believes that he is the person who needs to make these decisions while she goes and looks after her family. And the idea that she is some way this iron-fisted dominatrix princess, it's just for the birds, Angela. It's not true. So what is this campaign about?
Well, Camilla is in a similar situation. They think she's running it all. I just think it's an old-fashioned idea that any woman is incapable of being helpful or make good suggestions, and you call them, ridiculous people or aggressive people or taking over. I just think if you're in a partnership, then you help your husband. I mean, why not? I think he should help you and you should help him. If you've got good ideas, you look at things in a different view if you're female, and sometimes they're extremely important. And William can get extremely tired, but she might come up with something because she's not quite so tired. I can't see it. I think the way they've explained her is hideous. I don't think she's like that at all. I think to be in her position and to have a life that is very much with your children and close to your husband, that you need to understand each other and you need to help the person. And I think that actually anything else is a nonsense, isn't it? I think it's extremely cruel, especially as she still can't be fully better. She might be for now, but she's got to be very careful for the rest of her life. And actually to try and get her down, which a lot of people are doing, say nasty things, criticising, doing all that, is wrong. And actually, if we look at William, what he's like, from what he was like when his mother died to what he's like now, he's become a marvellous father. He's become a marvellous husband and he loves it. And he's very, very happy. So if she's done that, she's done a marvellous thing to do to help him get over a very difficult childhood with parents hating each other and being unkind and then losing one of them who is very close to, and then having to be the man of the house because Diana really leaned on him and asked him all sorts of things, some sexual, some not. And he didn't know what to say because he wasn't old enough to know what he should say. But roll on, for a time, he had a wonderful, calm, nice, beautiful woman who gradually showed him another aspect of life. And I think you could never say enough how wonderful it's been.
Very, very true. Very true. And it's just, this is a campaign and it's not good.
You have to just
Angela,
take no notice.
yeah, indeed. Angela, there's a weird thing going on with Prince Harry at the moment. Certainly jealousy and fear in regards to Prince George setting his stall out in some way, being at these Remembrance Days events. Now, I know it sounds so weird that an adult, a grown adult, would be jealous of a 12-year-old, especially a 12-year-old that's your nephew. But of course, Harry has always been very honest, Angela, that he knows once George steps onto the stage, his time is over. So is that what's behind this jealousy?
Yeah, he told me that actually. He said that he wanted to leave the family, and then he decided when his mother, I think she was 80, that she needed help, so he would stay behind. And he said that and look after her more, be useful. And he said that I have to do things very quickly because once the eldest child is at a proper age, they won't want me. And I'll be devastated because I'll have no reason to be in the family. That's what he felt like. I didn't mean that in a way that I'm going to kill myself. It was just that, William would ask George to do things and Charlotte to do things, and he won't have the sort of full light that he wanted. But I think that was just because he felt that he hadn't had enough love and enough spoilt behaviour from his family, and that he could then be a leader.
The problem
But
is, though, Angela, at the same time as he's feeling this insecurity, his public appearances are becoming more and more desperate. I wanted to get your take on a couple of these moments in Canada.
yeah,
First, he was booed on stage, and this was all over the fact that he had made that decision, a very unwise decision, which he blamed on his wife, Meghan, to wear the LA Dodgers hat in the week of the World Series, when really he should have been backing the Canadian team. And this is what happened on stage.
At the same time, a curious media line is forming around the Princess of Wales, painting Catherine as an iron-fisted operator banishing Andrew and taking no prisoners. Let's be real, that framing is convenient drama. The far likelier story is boring, and therefore true-ish. William makes constitutional calls, Catherine backs her husband, keeps the family steady, and avoids palace intrigue headlines. Spinning her into a shadow puppeteer cheapens what she actually does well: duty, continuity, and calm. Some commentators may want a palace Game of Thrones. What they're getting is a modern monarchy tightening its standards.
Second, the 900,000 watt floodlights shining down on an ever-increasing bald spot. Given that level of scrutiny, I think I'd even worn a Yankees hat. Okay, maybe not a Yankees hat, but you get the dilemma, right?
I mean, they were loud boos, Angela.
I did think it was an incredibly bad decision of him to go to Toronto. I thought, he said, no, it was nothing to do with William. Of course it was. Every time they do anything, the other family do something, they are there. They just come just before or at the same time. So I don't believe a word of that. And actually, if he's so keen about all these people, then he shouldn't have gone out for a birthday party. So
Yeah, and then
they're full of
Angela,
lies.
it was the indignity of the whole situation, though, was that he actually had to issue a public apology on national television to the entire country. Watch this.
What do you like to say at all about wearing that LA Dodgers hat last week and getting it hot
LA
water?
Dodgers hat gate. Well, firstly, I would like to apologise to Canada for wearing it. Secondly, I was under duress. There wasn't much choice. I was invited to the LA Dodgers box, or the dugout, by the owner himself, so I was doing what I thought was the polite thing to do. But I'm going to wear this from now on to make sure I don't make any more of those mistakes. But the other piece to this was, as you could probably relate, when you're missing a lot of hair on top and you're sitting under floodlights, you'll take any hat that's available. So, Game 5, Game 6, Game 7, I was Blue Jays throughout. Now that I've admitted that, it's going to be really hard for me to return back to Los Angeles. But no, I'm very sorry to the Canadian public. Devastated that the Blue Jays lost, but go Jays.
I mean, under duress, Angela, under duress, he could be describing what his entire marriage is like, I guess. But it feels to me like all he's got left in his arsenal now is making jokes about himself balding, when, remember, he used to be so negative about the fact that his brother was balding.
Yes. Yes, it's funny that, isn't it? He was very rude about William. And once he's in the same situation, he now sort of cracks jokes about it. I think he didn't know what to do, so the first thing he could do was to apologize. But actually, he's a desperately unhappy person, doesn't know what to do, really. I don't feel sorry for him at all, because it's all his own fault. But to try and do something that everybody would want to see on one of the days that his brother is doing really important things is just very, very nasty.
But Angela, he's going to be struggling with this, though, isn't he? Emotionally. Like the fact that he has gone from being, at one point, the most popular royal in the
Yes.
world
Yes.
to all of a sudden being booed on stage. I mean, for someone who already has a lot of mental health issues, this is going to be hitting him hard.
Yeah, the trouble is that he's now trying to get close to his father, isn't he? That's the thing. He wants money and he wants a job. I mean, he went out to do something there with the older people, and he sort of apparently rang his father and said, well, look, don't you wish I could do this for you? I could be very helpful. But it's too late because he wouldn't fit in to the hierarchy and how it would all work. And what would happen as well, which is the real nightmare thought, is that Meghan would come in and start controlling everything for him and for everybody else because she knows best. And she's got to be treated in that way. And you can't let him do that. No chance. He's just alone. And when you see the way she treats him pulling her, her pulling him. I mean, it's just shocking. Just, I don't feel sorry. I just feel that what a fool he's been to go for such the wrong woman.
Well, Angela, I just thought those two words were probably some of the most honest words he's spoken in recent years. Under duress.
Yes.
It sort of explains the whole setup of what has become a very difficult marriage for him. Under duress. I just, that really struck me. But Angela, keep up the great work. Don't you worry about that awful Wendell Pierce, because we adore you, of course. Keep on telling the truth. That is our royal mastermind, the biographer of Prince Harry and Queen Camilla, Angela Levin. And of course, if you do want full access to our Royal Uncancelled after show here on Outspoken, twice the length of what you've just watched, then do sign up to my Substack. The address, www.outspoken.live. Paid monthly or annual subscribers get first access to the Royal Uncancelled after show every single weekday, twice the length of what you've just watched, as I said, with no advertising whatsoever, which does appeal to some people, and you can watch it live or on demand. The other cool thing is that Substack is a free speech platform. It protects me from big tech cancellation. It protects me from lawfare. And supporting me on Substack is actually the best way to support all of the work that I do. You can also subscribe completely for free as well. And I would love you to be part of our growing community on Substack. The address, www.outspoken.live.
Meanwhile, Harry's public moments keep wobbling. Awkward jokes, awkward apologies, and a growing sense that the room isn't with him. Angela has said Harry once confided that when George came of age, his own spotlight would dim, and you can feel that anxiety in real time. The more he chases Hollywood validation, the harsher the comparisons look next to William and Catherine's service-first model. Which is why the online wars over Angela Levin aren't just about a biographer. They're about who controls the story of Harry and Meghan now, and whether critique gets silenced by coordinated outrage or stands because the facts and the public eventually do the talking.